Hello everyone and good morning, and in today's video I wanted to explain by visually showing you one of the benefits of ISO 9001. So what is ISO 9001? ISO 9001 is a quality management system that will help you to structure your business in a way that you can consistently meet customer requirements. Okay, so that is a basic definition of what a quality management system does to your company. Now, when you are going for an ISO certification, there are three main things that you have to focus on. First of all, there are the key processes, and these are the sales, purchasing, operations, and design and development procedures. There is the documentative part, okay, so where we have to map out the risks and opportunities, where we have to identify the requirements of interested parties, and there is other documented information that we will need to keep as part of our implementation of ISO 9001. But one of the most important elements within the management system is to have a supporting system. What is a supporting system? A supporting system are basic, simple processes that a quality management system has to have to ensure that the company can consistently and reliably offer a good quality product or service to its customers. And in this video, I'm going to show you how by developing very simple systems for these supporting systems, first of all, we can achieve the requirements of the standard of ISO 9001 in a simple way and in a way that benefits the actual company. A quick background about myself. In my first job, I was a quality engineer with a medical device manufacturer, and I was impressed with the amount of bureaucracy that this company had. In my second job, my role was to work with a construction company to help them set up another company within their group of companies. And unfortunately, they had no systems or procedures in place on how work has to be done. In the meantime, I was reading for a Master of Science with the University of Malta on how I can help companies to improve their operational processes. And that is where I've met ISO 9001 in 2012. And since then, I've been helping companies to find the fine line between not having any procedures, but not even creating bureaucratic systems. So in the point of this video, I want to show you in real life and in real practice how this is achieved when we are implementing ISO 9001. So without further ado, let's start this today's video, okay? And the first thing that I wanted to speak about was the corrective actions, okay? So as you can see over here, this is data that is being collected basically through a Google Sheet. Okay, so in this instance, I am using Google Sheets and Google Data Studio to represent the information in a way that can feed us data. And if we look at what we have on the screen right now, for example, here we can see that these are the corrective actions that were registered in the year of 2020 and in 2021, okay? And we can sort out this data by month, for example, or by year. Perhaps what would be more beneficial at this stage is to know which corrective actions are still open, okay? And this shows us the corrective actions that are still open and that therefore we have to do something about. But it also shows us, and this is the benefit of managing by data, that Ruta Bela, in this case, has 17 corrective actions that are not closed, and John Samut has 9. If we see the number of corrective actions that they had, it seems like they have both completed 2 corrective actions each, which naturally this is very low, but it goes to show that in this case, for example, Ruta Bela has many corrective actions that she needs support on. On this chart, for example, we are seeing that most of the corrective actions were identified during an internal audit, okay, for 2021. But for 2020, we've had a higher number of supplier complaints, and this can be seen that it actually increased. Okay, so we've had 7 complaints over here and 6 complaints over here. Okay, and we can also see over here the number of corrective actions that were closed, the source of all corrective actions, and further details about the actual process. For example, the sales process, and rather, so the sales process seems to be the most problematic, and then medical corporations. Okay, then there are particular clients and processes. And the point that I'm trying to convey with this screen is that corrective actions can be one of the most important elements in our business to guide us on which areas we should improve. And by having a representation of the open corrective actions and the closed corrective actions, who are the people that are involved in handling these corrective actions, the source of where all of these corrective actions are coming from, and we can compare data from one year to the next, then we can start to take decisions based on facts rather than opinions. And in my opinion, that is one of the key benefits of an ISO 9001 certification. The second element of a supporting system that we have to consider are the following. Okay, so for example, here we have training records, and these are training that were actually completed by these individuals. And then we have a training plan for a number of hours on a particular topic that each person will be trained upon. Okay, here we can see a visual representation of the topics on which training was completed, and it shows that, for example, in this case study, this organization is training its employees mostly on quality, then on sales, then on accounts, then on MDR, and finally product training. Okay, it might be or it might not be a good balance that this company is achieving, but that is besides the point of this video. What I want to show you in this video is that by collecting the information within the supporting system, then we can, the management of the company can actually determine whether the topics of the training complete represent the actual needs of the company. And the same thing can be done, for example, in this case, we are seeing that Carl Farrugia is being trained mostly in the company, followed by Josephine Falzon, and then by Luke Vela, and then the other people are trained to a much less extent. Okay, once again, we can compare the data for the training records, the training that was done, and the training that is planned. Also, over here, we are seeing the number of hours dedicated to training on this timeline. Okay, so far we have seen corrective actions and training records and training plans, which are 2 of the requirements of the standard. Okay, and this is the type of data that we will need, that you will need to be able to get certified and to run your quality management system. Now, what I would also like to speak about is the fact that supplier rating is also part of the supporting system that we have to consider. And over here, for example, we are seeing in this first chart, we are seeing the ratings of all the suppliers combined together from one year over the next. And it was good to see that the overall average is increasing year over year for such suppliers. And in fact, we can see a huge spike, for example, in the performance of complaint handling by our suppliers. Okay. Moreover, here we are taking data from the corrective actions that have specifically to do with particular suppliers. And we are comparing that data to the evaluation of suppliers. So when we come to the evaluation of suppliers, we have already some factual data that can help us to take informed decisions. Okay. Moving on, then we can compare, for example, different elements relating to criteria that we are evaluating our suppliers on from one year to the next as well. For example, when it comes to consumables, okay, when it comes to medical devices, and when it comes to storage, we are evaluating the different suppliers on the different topics. Naturally, this data can be changed and tweaked as per the benefits of the company that I am working with. But what I'm trying to convey in this message is that by having this type of visual representation about the data that we are collecting in our day-to-day running, we can take much more informed decisions. And I would also like to take a quick detour and briefly explain where this data is coming from. Okay, so these are simple Excel sheets. For example, for supplier quality, this is the data that we have. Okay, and over here, for example, we are evaluating, for example, for corrective actions. This is the list of corrective actions. As you can see, it is within a simple Google Sheet under the different columns, and then the analysis is being done within Google Data Studio. So nothing special is happening over here. We are just submitting all the information in these Google Sheets, and then with a proper setup of Google Data Studio, we can represent the data to help us to actually have visual representation of our data so that we would be in a position to take factual approach to decision making. Okay, so this is relating to the suppliers. Moving on, there is a quick chart about objectives. Okay, so over here, I have split the objectives by whether the goal has been met or whether the goal has not been met. And I am also plotting the data. For example, the sales, okay, we have reached all of our goals for sales. We have not reached all the goals when it comes to purchasing, and there is a lot of work that still needs to be done when it comes to operations for the goals relating to this company. Again, the idea of an ISO certification isn't to have a perfect management system, but to have a management system that inherently gives us the data that we need to take informed decisions with the idea and mindset of continual improvement. So that is where we are aiming to arrive as a company. Okay. The next chart that I would like to discuss briefly is the organizational knowledge. Okay, so over here we have George, which seems to be much more acquiring knowledge than Stefan and Christina are. Okay, and in this case, for example, and this is from this chart below. Okay, and it seems that we are, as an organization, we are getting most of our knowledge when it comes to sales, and then market knowledge, and then delivery, okay, and then product knowledge, and finally HR. And it shows that in 2021, we've had more lessons learned than in 2020. And over here, we have a repertoire of all the lessons that we are learning as an organization. And perhaps you know that organizational knowledge is one of the requirements of the standard. And by using this simple supporting system, we are certainly meeting that requirement by capturing the knowledge of the different individuals within our company to help us improve on the operational performance of the business. Next up, we are talking about customer feedback. Okay, so here we are evaluating, for example, our performance from 2020 to 2021, and we are splitting the ratings by the product itself. Okay, so these are simple representations that we can consider when we are creating this supporting system. And finally, I'm sharing with you this screen, which basically shows a simple equipment maintenance and calibration plan and record. Okay, so in the plan, this is the plan that we have over here. Okay, whereby we are stating what type of maintenance or calibration still needs to be done, and over here we are seeing what type of maintenance and calibration has already been done. Okay, so the point of today's video was twofold. First of all, I wanted to go through the requirements of the standard of ISO 9001 when it comes to the supporting system. And as you can see, you can find thousands of templates online that you can use to meet these requirements. However, in my experience, it is much more simple to stick with the data that I've shared in this video to meet those requirements. And secondly, I also wanted to do this video to help you to understand and truly appreciate the benefit that ISO 9001 can bring to your organization if and only if you are collecting your data in a way that makes it easier to analyze and understand, and therefore in a way that enables you to take facts based on decisions rather than on opinions. That is all I had for you for today's video. I hope that you have found it informative and that it will help you to further improve on the implementation and/or auditing of ISO 9001. If you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. I would love to help, and I wish you all a great day ahead. Thank you. Thanks.